Okay, Rabbi Sai, the last year of this month, gonna be again about Tisha B'Av. What should I tell you? Another Tisha B'Av is around the corner. So my shver, who grew up in East Flatbush, always likes to relate that so in East Flatbush there were Jews with a lot of black, but they got along. So it was a Tisha B'Av night, and the Jews, they were going to shul. They were wearing their hats and their jackets, and they had sneakers on, white sneakers on. So my shver heard one black guy to the other black guy. He said, "Look, the Jews must have a track meet at synagogue tonight." So obviously, so Rabbi Sai, we're going to talk a little bit about Tisha B'Av. We're going to talk about the laws of learning on Tisha B'Av. That's what we're going to talk about. Well, I don't know those days we have black sneakers, yeah. So we're going to talk about the laws of learning on Tisha B'Av. But before that, we have to have a little bit of an intro. We know that the Brisker Rav and the Minchas Chinuch the Zayda point out that there are actually two separate dinim when it comes to Tisha B'Av. Two separate dinim. One is din avelus, and one is din tainus. And we're going to explain. We're going to explain what that means exactly. The Gemara Psachim says quite clearly that Amar Rabbi Lazar, also you're now to put your finger even one finger in cold water. Just like you're not allowed to put your finger in cold water on Yom Kippur, right? We know on Yom Kippur Tisha B'Av you can't wash at all, right? Because you could hardly even do the morning of Tuesday diet. You do whatever, up to the knuckles, whatever you do, but you're not allowed to wash in cold water at all. Okay, so we see here the Gemara clearly in Psachim compares Tisha B'Av to Yom Kippur. On the other hand, we have an open Gemara in Tainus. Called Mitzvot hanoegis ba'avel, noegis b'Tisha B'Av. That all the din of avelus also applies for Tisha B'Av. And it says you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't do simcha near the sound of tashmita, you can't put on oils, you can't wear sandals, leather shoes, have marital relations, and you can't learn Torah. So we're seeing here openly two comparisons. One of Tisha B'Av is like avelus, and one of Tisha B'Av is like Yom Kippur. So what does that mean? What does that mean? We're going to talk this out. In which way Yom Kippur is Tisha B'Av like Yom Kippur? In which way is it like avelus? So, we all know that Yom Kippur has absolutely nothing with avelus, right? We do not keep Yom Kippur because we're mourning over something, right? It's like day. Yom Kippur is a happy day. So why do we eat and why do we drink on Yom Kippur and we have the other inuyim, right? So it's a form of getting atonement, a form of type of tefillah, a type of a kapara, but we're not doing it, right? We want atonement. It's like a way to show God that we want to return. It's to cleanse us. It's to make us holy. It has nothing to do with mourning. We are not mourning on Yom Kippur. So we see if the Gemara compares Tisha B'Av to Yom Kippur, black and white Gemara, we see that the Tisha B'Av also has this aspect, like Yom Kippur. It has this aspect of being tshuva, of trying to get some type of atonement, trying to make amends, trying to make ourselves better people. Black and white. The Gemara says that Tisha B'Av is like Yom Kippur. On the other hand, clear like day, that there's an aspect of avelus, right? What does avelus mean? We're crying over something that's lost, right? What's an avel? An avel is someone lost a relative. So he has to have the minhag of avelus. And the point is to show his sadness that he lost something, right? So clearly we have that on Tisha B'Av too. We're crying about the loss of the base of English. Clearly, right? Oh. So where do we see some things that we have on Tisha B'Av have both aspects, but some things only have one aspect? For example, This is that we don't eat and drink on Tisha B'Av. We don't eat and drink on Tisha B'Av, right? Is that because of a veilus? Seemingly not, because an oval doesn't have to fast. A classic oval. Someone, God forbid, his relative dies. Does he fast? No. Ain't no fast. What? He eat a lot of food. An oval doesn't fast. So, what? That's something else entirely. But an oval itself does not fast. So, obviously, the fasting of Tisha B'Av has nothing to do with veilus. Why would it have to do with veilus? Right? An oval doesn't fast. Oh. So, you'd say that, you're right, that the not eating and drinking on Tisha B'Av seemingly has to do only with, well, it's like Yom Kippur too. It brings the Kippur, it brings tshuva, it brings atonement. We need that also on Tisha B'Av. Oh. Let's go the other way. On Yom Kippur, are you allowed to learn Torah? I think so. That's what I do the Yom Kippur. I think that's the thing. You know? Of course you're allowed to learn Torah on Yom Kippur. Whatever you want to learn on Yom Kippur. So, on Tisha B'Av, why can't you learn Torah? We all know, we're going to talk about that in length, on Tisha B'Av, you're not allowed to learn Torah. You're not allowed to learn certain things. Most things you can't learn. So clearly, that has nothing to do with Yom Kippur. That has nothing to do because it's like Yom Kippur. That's clearly because it's like having to be like a veilus. That's the law of a veilus. Are you, on Yom Kippur, do you sit on the floor? You don't sit on the floor in Yom Kippur. Maybe bow down on the floor once in a while. You don't sit on the floor in Yom Kippur. So clearly that has to do with a veilus. Not saying hello. You don't say hello in Yom Kippur? Of course you say hello in Yom Kippur. That has to do with a veilus. Oh. On the other hand, like we said, eating and drinking, l'chayra, has nothing to do with a veilus. That has to do with kindness. That has to do with it's like Yom Kippur, that we want an atonement, the Kippur. Oh. So I'm showing you different aspects. Now, the truth is, it could be even the achila and shtia part has an aspect of veilus. Why? Because an ovel, at least in the beginning of his stage, can't eat meat and wine. An oinain, meaning right at the beginning, before you bury the deceased, you can't eat meat and wine. So that's called an oinain, which basically, and there's many ways to explain it, but I'm going to explain it. It's like supercharged of veilus. It's like you're really in grief. It's not the classic way to explain it, but I can explain it that way. So therefore, even an ovel has an aspect of not eating meat and wine. And according to many achronim, let's say someone who's sick on Yom Kippur, he has to eat. Someone's sick on Yom Kippur, he has to eat. According to many achronim, you shouldn't eat meat and wine. Meat and wine you shouldn't eat on Yom Kippur. Because that aspect of a veilus you do have on Yom Kippur. Right? It's a whole machlokes about that. Well, there's no Tisha B'Av, there's no Kiddush on Tisha B'Av, and there's no Tisha B'Av on Shabbos. So let's speak again. This is the easy part. Not eating and not drinking on Tisha B'Av has to do with Yom Kippur. Tisha B'Av is like Yom Kippur, this aspect of Kippur, tshuva, atonement, making yourself a better person. Not learning Torah, sitting on the floor, saying hello, not eating meat and wine on Tisha B'Av, that would be because of a veilus. Now, there are some things that are actually by both. For example, the 4 afflictions of Rechitza and Nilas HaSandal and Sicha and Tasha Zemita, that actually is usher for an oval. No one should be an oval, God forbid. But when you become an oval, you'll find out that you can't wear sandals, you can't wear leather shoes, and you can't wash, and you can't anoint yourself, and you can't marital relations. Yom Kippur also has that. So those 4 things could be for both reasons. It could be because it's like Yom Kippur, and it could be because it's like a veilus. Oh, but here is the major nafkamina that the Zayd of the Mechazin talks out. What is the law of an oval? An oval, right? Someone's father died, mother died, God forbid, or whatever. He can't take a shower. He can't wash himself, his face and hands, in hot water. But he could do it in cold water. An oval is allowed to wash his hands and face in cold water. On Tisha B'Av, we know you can't even wash your hands and face, even in cold water. Now we know on Tisha B'Av you can't wash your hands and face at all, not right? Not in any cold water. Only in the morning a teeny bit for that. That's it. So wait a minute. Why is it on Tisha B'Av you can't even wash your hands and face in cold water? It must be that has to do with like Yom Kippur. It must be that when you talk about rechitza, when you talk about washing on Tisha B'Av, it actually has two aspects, and since it has two aspects, it will have a stringency of both aspects. So basically, on Tisha B'Av, if someone stops you on Tisha B'Av and says, hey, why are you not taking a nice hot shower? Or why are you not washing your hands with hot water? You'll say two reasons. One is because Tisha B'Av is like Kippur. I want a kapara, I want tshuva. And Tisha B'Av is like a veilus. Oh, and why don't you wash your hands with cold water? Oh, that's only because it's like Yom Kippur. That has nothing to do with a veilus. Because you know an Avel is allowed to wash his hand in cold water. What? No, you can't. Yeah. But cold, an Avel is allowed to wash whatever he wants. An Avel wants to refresh himself, he can't take a shower, but he can't wash in hot water, but he could throw water on his face and wash his hands, right? And Avel has no problem. On Tisha B'Av, yes, of course, there are sometimes you wash your hands on Tisha B'Av. No question. Like you said, in the morning, after the toilet, whatever. But in principle, you can't wash your hands in cold water on Tisha B'Av. So the washing the hands on Tisha B'Av in cold water, that is an aspect of Yom Kippur. We see Tisha B'Av is a particular Yom Kippur, a little available. So what's the nafkamina? Very nice, beautiful. It's just good to get it clear. Or something that are available on Tisha B'Av, something like Yom Kippur on Tisha B'Av. So the big nafkamina, says the Mechitz Chinuch, would be when Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbos. When Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbos, so we know what's the halacha. We don't fast. We don't fast Tisha B'Av falls on Shabbos. We push it off for Sunday. But Dvarim Shebetzina, the halacha is an Avel. Let's say someone, God forbid, a relative dies. Does he do a veilus on Shabbos? Not in public. That's right, but a little bit yes. Dvarim Shebetzina, which basically means marital relations, you can't have a Shabbos when you're an Avel. Oh. So let's talk about it. Let's go. Here we are. We're at Tisha B'Av, and it's Shabbos Tisha B'Av. So we know we're not fasting today. There's no tightness at all. Can you wash your hands in hot water or cold water? Let's see. In hot water or shower. Well, there is a veilus on Shabbos. This Tisha B'Av, which is Shabbos, there is a veilus Dvarim Shebetzina. So the aspect of a veilus, you'd have to keep on that Shabbos. And you couldn't take a cold shower, you couldn't wash your hands in water. But on that Shabbos, would you be able to wash your hands in cold water? The answer is yes. Because the cold water of Tisha B'Av is related to the din of Yom Kippur, it's related to the din of tightness. There is no tightness at all on Shabbos of Tisha B'Av. So that will be the big nafkamina. On Shabbos of Tisha B'Av, let's get it straight. On Shabbos of Tisha B'Av, there is din of availus, but no din tightness. We don't have any other affliction. There's no din tightness on Shabbos of Tisha B'Av. Meaning there's no din of let it be like Yom Kippur. There is no din let it be like Yom Kippur. Only on Sunday it's going to be like Yom Kippur. Because on Sunday is when you fast. But on Shabbos of Tisha B'Av, there will be the availus b'tzina. The things that you don't do publicly, there is a veilus in Shabbos Tisha B'Av. On Shabbos Tisha B'Av, you can't have married relations. And so too, you wouldn't be able to wash your hands in hot water. But you would be able to in cold water. What's the difference? Because here we see the demarcation. Here we see the distinction. Because on Shabbos of Tisha B'Av, you don't have any of the din of tightness. You don't have any of the din that is like Yom Kippur. But you do have the din that's like a veilus. And an Avel only can't wash his hands in hot water, but could wash his hands in cold water. That's what the Mishnah Berurah says, black and white. Question is that's what the Mishnah Berurah means, but the Mechitz Chinuch definitely says the black and white. Black and white, that there are two dinim on Tisha B'Av. And here we see it. Here we see it's nafkamina. Shabbos, Tisha B'Av. Will you be able to wash in cold water or not? No. This is just an intro. Important intro because a lot of Torah of Tisha B'Av is based on this. We're not going to go there. What I do want to talk about today is the halacha is you can't learn Torah. You can't learn Torah at Tisha B'Av. Again, that has to do with some Kippur. Obviously, that doesn't do with some Kippur. That has to do with the Avelis. Because the law is an Avil can't either learn Torah. You should never become an Avil. An Avil can't learn Torah. That's the law, right? So it says over here, open Gemara, you can't learn Torah. Also liquid Torah and Nevi'im Ksudim. You can't learn Mishnah and Talmud, Halacha and Agadah. But Reb Meir says, if it's something you never learned before, so you're opening up a Taisus. You get one a Taisus in Baba Kama. You get one of these huge Taisus that you never learned. You see, you just start seeing color. You start fainting, right? When you just look at a Taisus and you never learned it, you're like, that you can learn. That Reb Meir says you can learn. Why can you learn that? Because the Ein Rag, the Makom She'ein Rag, the liquid is Shaina. The Makom She'ein Rag, the Lishna is the cut. That you could learn. Meaning a new material. Even though it's in Baba Kama Matzia, Reb Meir says you could learn. And Reb Meir says, we're going to go into the gears here, and school can be open. The kids can go to school. Tonight, Yeshivat Ohr can go to school. Right? Oh. The different gears, we're going with that gears. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Even something you never learned. You open up a Matzia, open up a Taisus over there. You can't learn it, even though you never learned it. And that's what we paskin. Even something you don't know, something that you don't know, you can't learn. And Rabbi Yehuda paskins, you can't have school. There's no batal tonight to Shabbat's Rabbi. Oh, Shenema b'kudesh Hashem yishom b'sam chilei. So we have machlokes Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Meir says you can't learn old things, but if it's a new material, you're allowed to learn it. And Rabbi Meir says you can have school. School's open on Tisha B'Av. Yehuda says even new things you can't learn, a shver Taisus that you never saw, you can't learn, and school is closed. The Torah calls simcha. Everyone agrees you can learn sad stuff. What's sad stuff? Eov, right? Ever learn Eov? Don't try. It sounds like it's very sad. It's almost impossible to read. So you have Eov, and you can learn Kinus, and you can read the bad Gemaras in Gittin, and you can read the bad the Eicha, and the Midrashim in Eicha, and the Gemaras in Bakamsa. That you can do. All the stuff, all the depressing stuff, all the depressing stories about the Churban, or depressing laws about Avelis, or depressing Midrashim, or Eve's depressing life. You know, Eve, right? He had a great life, and then everything fell apart, and he questions God, why is this happening? You know what Eve? You gotta read Eve. Anyway, so that's right, the opportunity is coming. So then everybody can learn. So I have 3 or 4 ways to explain this machlokes in Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir. I'm going to pick one only because of time limitation. What is machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir? Why does Rabbi Yehuda say you could learn a Taisus and Baba Kama if you never learned it? You could learn a Taisus and Ksubas if you never learned it. And what? That's Rabbi Meir. And Rabbi Yehuda, and yeah, you could have kids. You could have kids go to school. And Rabbi Meir says no. Rabbi Meir says no. You can't learn anything, even something that's new. So what's the machlokes? So the Aruch HaShulchan and basically the Rav also says the same thing. Rabbi Soloveitchik. Machlokes is like this. The reason why you can't learn on Tisha B'Av is because it makes you happy. Torah makes you happy, and Tisha B'Av is not a happy day. Not a happy day. But the machlokes is, what does that mean that Torah makes you happy? According to Reb Meir, it means people who learn Torah are happy. Look how happy, Ohr Somayach, happy life, right? People think it's a cult. No, we're just happy. We're happy because we learn Torah. There's a smile, a shmeicha on everyone's face when they learn Torah. It makes you happy. Okay? Reb Rabbi Yehuda learned it's not a question of whether it makes you happy or doesn't make you happy. Torah intrinsically is something that brings happiness to the world, brings happiness to the Rebbe Shalom, brings happiness to your soul. It's not a question of an emotion. According to Rabbi Yehuda, according to Meir, the question is an emotion. People who learn Torah are happy. So you can't learn Torah in Tisha B'Av. According to Rabbi, it's not a question of according to Yehuda, it's not a question of emotion. It's a question of the intrinsic happiness that comes into the world, that comes into you, whether you know it or not. Oh. And now we're into the Machlokes. Everyone holds the issue is about happy. Everyone holds the issue is about happy. Everyone holds it. The Mayor says like this: when you learn something that you're familiar with, so you know what, a little chazor, you feel good about yourself, you're happy. But I don't know about you guys, but whenever I come across some big places, and I'm like, this is like 10,000 references, the place expects you to know the whole Shabbos by heart, right? And you're like, what's the first thing you say? You're like, oh, please, Lord, have mercy, right? You're like, oh no, can't we just skip this one? Right? Learning is frustrating, not for Shalom over here, but to learn something for the first time is frustrating. So, Rabbi Meir holds, since the whole Isaac to learn Torah on Tisha B'Av because it makes you happy, but b'makom she'ein raga likrois, b'makom she'ein raga lishnois, if it's a first time thing, you're really not happy. The emotion is one of stress, of pressure, and of maybe even a little bit of agitation. So, you're not happy. Even though it's learning Baba Kaba Mitzvah, but you're not happy because it's difficult. So you can learn it. Oh. What about school? Ain't no one happy to go to school. We're talking about school children. The Rabbi doesn't want to be there. He probably gets a lousy salary in the first place. The kids don't want to be there. Ain't no one wanting to be there. So therefore, Mayor Hole, on Tisha B'Av, you could learn new things that you never learned, like Baba Kama Mitzvah that you never learned, and school is open, school is out, school is open. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, it has nothing to do with your emotional connection at that point in time. What you do is whether you're agitated or you're frustrated because you can't figure out one line of Torah for the last 10 hours. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with Torah intrinsically. There is a simcha that permeates Torah whether you feel it or don't feel it. It don't make no difference. Your soul feels it, or God feels it, or Klal Yisrael feels it, or the world feels it. Maybe you're not feeling it, but it makes no difference that you personally don't feel it. Torah is simcha, not Maseratis, not vacations, not fancy restaurants. Torah is simcha inherently. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda says, it makes no difference if it's a new thing or an old thing. It makes a difference if you're personally frustrated right now. You open up a new Torah and you can't learn. It doesn't make a difference what your emotions are. It is intrinsically Davar Sheba Simcha. And therefore, it makes no difference that no one wants to go to school, and the Rebbe don't want to be there, and the children don't want to be there. It makes no difference. It's a happy set. It's a happy situation. Hey, no one happy? They're not in the know. Tough luck. They're not happy? That makes no difference what their emotions right now. Torah is happiness. And that's what we paskin. And this is what we paskin. We paskin that no school on Tisha B'Av, and you can't learn anything on Tisha B'Av, even if it's a shared Torah that you never learned before. So that's the way the Aruch HaShulchan basically explains the Machlokes. They bring an example to this concept of Rabbi Yehuda. What's the example to Rabbi Yehuda? This concept that even if you're emotionally not happy with something, but it's something intrinsically happy in the thing, so it doesn't make a difference what your mood is at that point in time. To give an example, the halacha is during the 9 days, right? When the 9 days, you can't get married. You can't get married during the 9 days, right? Halacha, you can't get married. And the halacha is during the 9 days, you can't build binyanim shel simcha, right? You can't build gardens or some type of building that's basically just for recreation or just for like a canopy of some sort, say gazebo. You can't build these things on Tisha B'Av because these are called binyanim shel simcha. Now, but the halacha is like this. Let's say you're building a gazebo for a stucco function. You're building a gazebo because you want to, you're having or you're planting a garden because you want to have some type of a mitzvah done in that garden. You're setting up some type of dinner for some institution. You can have a nice garden or a nice building for it, then you're allowed it. Meaning, even though it's a davar sheb simcha, the binyan of simcha, but if its intent is for mitzvah, so that sort of like mitigates the simcha aspect. Basically, it becomes overshadowed that you're doing it for mitzvah, not for simcha. Even though it's a simcha, right? The point is to have a nice garden, that people should go there and have pleasure in it. And you're building this gazebo, whatever you're building over there, that people should enjoy it. But if you're doing it for a mitzvah aspect, like for a stucco function, then you're allowed to do it in the 9 days. The fact that I'm wrong, I don't understand. So why can't you get married on the 9 days? Getting married is a mitzvah, right? Why else would you get married? Only for a mitzvah, right? Right? So what is the difference? Why can't you get married in the 9 days? So the answer is going to be like we're saying now. And also, let's say someone has to get married in the 9 days, but he actually doesn't want to get married. He was forced into the situation, whatever it is. Then he allowed to get married in the 9 days? But you're not happy to get married. You don't want to get married. Oh. But the answer is the same thing. Nisuin is intrinsically a happy thing. The whole mitzvah of nisuin, whether you're happy or not happy, even though there's a mitzvah aspect to it, but the whole mitzvah of nisuin is a mitzvah of simcha. So you can't say, oh, why can't I get married in the 9 days? It's a mitzvah. Just like I could build my gazebo if I'm building it for a mitzvah. But the answer is no. Because by nisuin, the mitzvah is simcha. That is the mitzvah. The misameach. That is the mitzvah of nisuin, to be happy. So you can't say, oh, look, let the mitzvah overshadow the happy part. What do you mean the mitzvah should overshadow the happy part? The mitzvah is to be happy. But when you're building a gazebo, and everyone's like, oh, wow, beautiful building, or whatever, beautiful edifice, and they're so happy, yeah. But I'm doing it because I want someone to get stuck in. I'm just doing it in order to get to basically get the rich people to come in and say, oh, this is a beautiful institution, let me give you some money, right? So there we can say the mitzvah overshadows the fact that it's a building of simcha, that it's a nice garden. Because the mitzvah has nothing to do with simcha. The mitzvah is to get stuck in. There, that mitzvah overshadows the fact that it's a binyan of mitzvah. But by nisuin, you can't say, oh, it's a mitzvah, so let that overshadow the fact that it's a simcha. So we're saying the same thing over here. But Torah, it doesn't make a difference. Torah intrinsically, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is simcha. That's what it is. Torah is intrinsically simcha. It doesn't make a difference whether you're happy or not happy, or you want to go to school, you don't want to go to school. Oh, no. So you're going to ask me, okay, great. So why are you allowed? According to this, we're in trouble. According to Rav Meir, we understand why you can learn sad things on Tisha B'Av. Because according to Rav Meir, it's all about emotions. And therefore Rav Meir says you could there's school on Tisha B'Av because everyone's sad about it. And Rav Meir says you can learn a shver toises that you never learned in Baba Kama because you're very sad about it, you're agitated about it, makes you depressed that you're stuck on one line for that, right? Okay. That's why it makes sense. According to me, you could learn also sad stuff. You could learn Eov and the Gemaras in Gittin, the tragic stories about the Churban. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, that Torah is nothing to do with your emotion. It's intrinsic, it's imminent, it's inside, it's integral to Torah, it's simcha, and we don't care whether you're happy that day or not happy. That makes that's not relevant. So why could you learn sad things? Sad things is also Torah. Eve is also Torah. The Midrashim of Eicha also Torah. The Kiddush is also Torah. So where does that heter come in? Where does that heter? Just like Rabbi Yehuda says you can't learn a Baba Kama Taisis even though you're sad about it. And just like Rabbi Yehuda says you can't have school even though you're sad about it. Because intrinsically there's a simcha here. So why can't you learn sad things? Oh. So there are two answers to this question. One answer would be that you're right. You're right. That let's just go. Let's do the more simple answer. The simple answer is you're right. There is well, just like if says you can't learn a new Tosfos because even though you're sad, because it's very difficult, but because in principle, Torah is always called intrinsically simcha. Doesn't make a difference if you're not appreciating it right now, and therefore Rabbi says also you can't have school because it's simcha, even though no one wants to go to school. But intrinsically, Torah is simcha. That's what it's about. You don't realize it maybe, but God realizes it, and makes the world you realize about it. So you shouldn't be able to learn sad things either. The sad things are also in Torah, so it should also be intrinsically simcha, right? What's the difference? So the answer we're going to say is the two answers. I'm going to give a simple answer. You're right. You're right. You're right. You should not be able to learn sad things on Tisha B'Av. But there's something called by Tisha B'Av Seder Hayoim. Which means what? In Tisha B'Av, are we going to say Psukim Zimra? Yeah. Oh yes. Are we going to on Tisha B'Av we'll wake up early on Tisha B'Av because we have nothing to do, so we can say Karbanos. You say it every day. You'll say Karbanos. You'll say Ezim and Kaiman. You're going to say Ezim and Kaiman, right? You know what Ezim and Kaiman is before the davening? Some people say it. Shnayas over there. I've seen it. Right? Are we going to do Shnai Mikra Echet Targum according to some Shitas on Tisha B'Av? If you do it every day, we should Sheni Shlishi. So, will you do Shnai Mikra Echet Targum? Will you say Tehillim? So we see. Will you do Kriyat Torah on Tisha B'Av? Even in the Mincha. The Mincha Tisha B'Av, what we read is not sad stuff. Right? It's Vayichal. Right? We see there's a concept that even though you're not allowed to learn on Tisha B'Av, but Seder Hayom, things that are intrinsic for the day, like Psukim Zimra and Kabbalah that you say every day, and Shnai Mikra Echet Targum and Ezim and Kaiman, there is a heter, meaning the Chazal said, don't learn happy stuff or don't learn Torah that's not intrinsically connected to the day. But anything that's intrinsically, that's part of the day, is called Seder Yom, part of the routine of the day, that we say you're allowed to do in Tisha B'Av. And therefore you could say, come on, and therefore you could say Ezim Kaiman. So the Chiddush is, Rabbi Yehuda says, all Torah is happy. All Torah is happy, whether you think it's happy, whether you are happy, not happy. It makes a big emotion. So how can you learn sad stuff? Because sad stuff is Seder Hayom. Sad stuff is what has been prescribed to learn today to remind you about the Churban. Sad stuff is like Psukim Zimra. Sad stuff is like Tanaberi Shmo. Sad stuff is what has been prescribed. Today, you're supposed to learn sad stuff. Not because it doesn't make you happy. Not because it's not happy. It makes you happy. No question. Torah is intrinsically happy. But bottom line is, you got to do something in Tisha B'Av. And bottom line is, Chazal said, sad stuff is what we want you to learn today, in order that you should get into the mood, in order that you should understand the severity of the situation, in order to set the tone. So that would be the answer. That would be the answer. The reason why I learn the sad stuff is because it's part of the state of Yom. Not because the sad stuff is not Misamech. Everything is Misamech. Oh. This is one way to understand this. If you have this mahalach, there's a whole huge machlokes. So you're learning sad stuff. You're learning Moed Katan, third parak of Moed Katan. Very sad stuff. Are you allowed to learn Be'in? Are you allowed to open up a Rashba and a Ritva? And you're allowed to learn Taisim there or not? So many Achrayim say, no. Even the sad stuff you have to learn on a very simple level. You have to learn on a very simple level. But according to this Mahalach, it could be you can learn the sad stuff even Be'in. Why? Because we're saying now the reason why you're learning the sad stuff is not because it doesn't make you happy. It makes you happy. Everything makes you happy. Every bit of Torah makes you happy. Every bit of Torah is intrinsically happy. It's just that there's a special heter called Seder Yom. A special heter says, today, just like you're allowed to do Psukim Zimra, this is what this Seder Yom is. This is what the routine is of today. So it could be, if that's what the routine is, then you could even learn Be'in. You can even learn Be'in. Because there's been a allowance, more than allowance, a prescription given today this is what you need to learn. The sad stuff, even though it's happy, but this is what you need to learn. So it could even be done be'ir. Okay.
Why is being part of the Seder?
Because we're saying that today, what you're supposed to be learning is sad stuff. So,
That's harsh to get. That's
meaning, I'll tell you another Halacha. I'll tell you another Halacha in a minute. But another Mahalach would be like this. Why are you allowed to learn sad stuff? Why are you allowed to learn sad stuff? If we're saying now, according to Yehuda, Torah is intrinsically happy and everything is happy, you'd have to say something like, well, sad stuff, if the text is so sad, that does overpower the simcha. It's like a tug of war. Let's go to Rabbi Yehuda's world. Learning Taisus is very hard. First time learning Taisus. Very difficult Taisus. Okay, it's difficult. But you'll get it at the end of the day, so it's like this tsar. But we say, overarching, says Rabbi Yehuda, Torah is happy. You go to school. Kids don't like going to school. They hate school. Okay, that's what a school is. You don't like it, but there's an intrinsic simcha there. But even Rabbi Yehuda agrees, if the text is sad, if the text is something that's sad, that overpowers the simcha. The text is so sad, your mood is so bad. Like, let's say you're learning a Tyson, you don't understand it. You're in a bad mood, you're agitated. When you learn Iyuv, it's not just because you're having difficulty reading, not just because you have difficulty understanding, it's because the text itself is so sad that overpowers the simcha. That's another Mahalach. According to that Mahalach, it could be maybe you can't learn Be'iyah. Because if you learn Be'iyah and you start, oh, I'm so smart, look how smart I am. You know, when you learn Be'iyah, you start like having novelties, so it could be, it's like a tug of war here. Torah is Sameh, yeah, but the text is sad. Yeah, but I'm having such a good time in the sad text. So it could be if you learn that the heter is because the sad text overpowers the simcha, even though the simcha is intrinsic. It could be you wouldn't be able to learn Be'iyah. But it's a big machlokes. But if you learn that there's a heter seder hayom, then no. There's always simcha. No matter what you do, simcha. Everything is simcha. But there was a special dispensation given to learn sad stuff because sad stuff is what is need to be learned today. Then, even if you learn Be'iyah, so what? It doesn't make a difference if you learn Be'iyah or just learn. According to Yehuda, anyway, it was happy. Anyway, everything was happy. Even the sad stuff was happy. So there's a special dispensation because it's part of it's like Tzukah Zimra. It's like this is what's prescribed. So maybe Be'iyah too also. I actually want to get involved in this part. This is what it is. Oh. The big machlokes, Rabbi is like. And this is where we're going to end in a half an hour. The big machlokes is, we were holding? Okay. The big machlokes is, the famous machlokes is like this. Okay. Bottom line is, we paskin, no learning on Tisha B'Av, no opening up of a Kama, no opening up of Mitzvot. It's not happening. Not a new Tais, not an old Tais, it's nothing. But you could learn sad stuff. Eicha, Yirmiyahu, Eov. So, do you have to learn that stuff? Meaning, do you have a chiyuv or is it voluntary? Meaning, we know something called the Mitzvah Talmud Torah. We all know that the Mitzvah called Talmud Torah. What is the Mitzvah Talmud Torah? The Mitzvah Talmud Torah is you have to learn whenever you can learn. There's no volunteering by Talmud Torah. It's something called Bittul Torah. What does that mean? That means you have to learn whenever you can. So how does it play out? It plays it like this. The rabbi said you must learn in the morning and night, some say. And some say you're yoik to Kriya and all of that. You must learn morning and night. After that, it depends on who you are. If you're a person who needs to go to work, so then you don't have to learn in the working hours. You don't have to learn. When you come home, play with the kids, do what you do, then you have to learn. It's not optional. It's not optional. If you don't have a good reason why you're not learning, it's called a bittul mitzvah essay. So it's a very weird type of mitzvah Talmud Torah. Each person, it depends on each person who he is. So if you went to work, God doesn't say, oh, you're terrible, you aren't learning. No. You're not supposed to be learning then. Well, if you come home and you sit down 3 hours watching Netflix, and then who knows what, then God says, what are you doing? Oh, I need to relax. Okay, how much do you need to relax? Every night you need to relax? All right? So each person is if you're an average, and you don't come to yeshiva for one day, if there's no good reason, you're over b'tel essay. It's your over b'tel essay. It's no volunteer by Torah. It's not volunteer. It's an option. It's you have a reason not to learn, then you don't have a reason to learn. If you don't have a reason to learn, you're over the if you don't learn, right? Everybody, no matter what the situation is, no matter how dire the situation is, has to learn morning and night. That you have to do. Could be your institution with that. That's the way. That is the way Torah works. That's the way the Talmud works, according to most Acharonim. So here we are. We're Tisha B'Av, and we are sitting on our couch, just looking at the clock, do absolutely nothing. And you don't want to. You can't learn Baba Kama Messiah. And there it is. The Medrash Eichav is staring at you, or Navi Eve is staring at you, and you don't want to do it. Why not? Just don't want to. Are you over the Avera of Bittul Torah? Are you over the Avera of Bittul Torah? Meaning, another way to say it, is there a mitzvah of Talmud Torah on Tisha B'Av? Do you say? Do you say? Yeah, of course. Why not? Of course. You can't learn Baba Kama Mitzvah, but you could learn these things. So, and if you have no reason why you're not learning, so you're over on Bittul Torah, you're over on Mitzvah learning the Torah. Or do you say, even though you're allowed to learn these things on like Iyov and the Medrash Eicha, but it's only optional, it's voluntary. It's voluntary. If you don't want, you don't have to. There you are, you're on the couch, do absolutely nothing, and you're like, I want to play Monopoly. Your wife says, Bittul Torah. You say, no, there ain't no Torah. There ain't no Torah on Tisha B'Av. No Torah Tisha B'Av. Wife says, no. What do you mean no Torah Tisha B'Av? You can learn Gittin, Medrash Eicha, there's Gemara and Gittin. And you say, no, you don't have to do that. On Tisha B'Av, there is no Talmud Torah. You don't have to. Yeah, it'd be a nice thing if I do, but I don't have to. This is a major machlokes between Acharonim going down from infinitus. The Divrei Yatziv, the Stei Chemed, and the Rabbi Yashiv and Orchaner all say you must learn Torah on Tisha B'Av. You don't have an option. You must learn. If you're sitting on the couch and doing nothing, you don't feel good, fine. But you must learn. If not, you're Bittul Torah. Straight up. And so learns Reb Elyashiv, surprisingly enough. Shlomo Zalman and the Mata Yehuda and others. No. You don't have to learn this. You don't want to learn, you don't have to. This that it says that you can learn the Dvarm V'Torim, the Dvarm Ro'im, the bad things. It means if you want to. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. Play Scrabble, do whatever you want. You don't have to. It's voluntary. Oh. The truth is, it's too late. The rayas from Rashi and the Ritva, it seems like the radio Machlokes Rishonim could be about this issue. Oh. Let's talk about this. If you open up, some Rishonim say you don't make a Birkas Torah on Tisha B'Av. Some Rishonim say there's no Birkas Torah on Tisha B'Av. And some Rishonim say there is a Birkas Torah, right? Now those Rishonim say there's no Birkas Torah. What do they hold? They have the hold. There is no mitzvah Talmud Torah on Tisha B'Av. There is no mitzvah. You do not have to learn. And if you want to, it's extra credit. Are you understand what I'm trying to say there? Talmud Torah is not extra credit usually. There is no extra credit. It's like you have to learn when you're able to learn. You have to learn. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to take breaks and this and that, but at a certain point in time that you have to learn. You don't have any excuse anymore. But well, if you have time, I'll get into that. So basically, they hold there is no Birkas Torah. And some Rishonim say there's Birkas Torah. We obviously do the Birkas Torah. We'll talk about that maybe. Another big machlokes is if you on Tisha B'Av night, also the day, there is a big machlekes when you say uvalotzion. And do you say uvalotzion? Right? We say uvalotzion. So on Tisha B'Av, do you say the pasuk v'ani zois prisi yasam amar Hashem ruchesh lecha, or do we just start from v'at kodesh? So the halacha is we actually don't say uvalotzion goyel. That's obviously because there ain't no gula on Tisha B'Av, and we don't say v'ani zois prisi yasam. What are these specifically talking about? And I promise to give the Torah, the Torah will not leave your children, right? What? There's Gula and Tisha B'Av. There ain't no Uvalotzion Goyel, so we don't say the first part we don't say Tisha B'Av because the Redeemer has not come to Zion on Tisha B'Av. Okay, but it hasn't happened. It hasn't appeared yet. But yeah, we don't say Uvalotzion Goyel. And we don't say Vani Zois Prisi Yasam. And some say we do say Vani Zois Prisi Yasam. And Vani Zois Prisi Yasam is talking about Torah. So very good. The ones who say you don't say it, hold. By the way, we're paskin. You don't say it, it's because there's no Torah on Tisha B'Av. And there's no Talmud Torah on Tisha B'Av. There's no Mitzvot Talmud Torah on Tisha B'Av. There's those who say you do say it, hold. What do you mean there's no Talmud Torah on Tisha B'Av? Of course there's Talmud Torah on Tisha B'Av. You gotta learn Medrash Eicha, you gotta learn Iyuv, you gotta learn Yirmiyahu, you have the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. Right? Oh. We find the Kli Yakar in the Chumash talks about Esav was not very happy with Yaakov. Esav was not very happy with Yaakov because Yaakov stole the brachas. Right? And what did Esav say? Esav said, I'm going to kill Yaakov. That's what he said. I'm going to kill Yaakov. But he said, I'm not going to kill him right now. I'm going to wait until Yitzchak dies. So now Esav harbored hatred toward Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esav thought, may the days of mourning of my father draw near. Then I'll kill my brother Jacob. So why did he want to wait until Yitzchak died? Simply because he didn't want to start a war with his brother while Yitzchak was alive. Right? He didn't want to kill Yitzchak's son when Yitzchak was alive. But the Kli Yakar says no, because an Avel is not a learned Torah. And Esav said, what? When Yaakov's learning Torah, I ain't gonna be able to. I'm not gonna be able to better him. I'm not gonna be able to win him in a duel. I gotta wait until Yaakov is sitting Shiva, and since he's not learning Torah, then I'll be able to actually vanquish Yaakov. What is even the Kli Yakar? I don't understand. An Avel has to learn Torah. An Avel can learn just like an Avel can learn all sorts of sad stuff. You see, the Kli Yakar holds that even if an Avel learns, it's not a real mitzvah of Talmud Torah. It's a lesser mitzvah, right? So here's another proof that someone holds like Avel and Tisha B'Av are the same thing. They're also to learn Torah. Okay, now. Okay. Right now, he's bringing up. I didn't want to go into this, but there's actually different levels. You could say. You could say, like Rabbi Yoshev, that you must learn on Tisha B'Av. Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. You must learn on Tisha B'Av. No excuse. You got to learn the Midrashim Eicha and Iyuv. You must learn. That's level number one. Level number two is, even though during the year it's optional, during the year you must, over here on Tisha B'Av, it's optional. Meaning if you do it, you get a mitzvah, but you don't have to. During the year, if you're sitting on the couch, it's called Bittul Torah. On Tisha B'Av, it's not Bittul Torah, but if you do learn, it's like an optional mitzvah. That's level number two. But it seems some Achreinim hold level number three. Even if you do learn, you don't get Talmud Torah. Meaning this, that if you open up a Gittin on Tisha B'Av, or you open up a Yirmiyahu or Iyuv, it's like reading a history book. It's a good thing. But if you get there's actually no mitzvah. You can't even get the mitzvah. It's not even optional. It's just like I said, Seder Yom. It's like reading a history book. It's a good thing to know what's going on in Judaism. But you won't get a mitzvah at all. Those are the different levels. Oh. Rabbi said, the question is, wait one minute. Why in the world should this be? Rabbi Yosef makes the most sense. This should be a mitzvah of Talmud Torah on Tisha B'Av. Why not? If you have the option to learn, so why would I think there is no Talmud Torah on Tisha B'Av? Okay, I know I can't learn the happy things, but why? If I could learn the sad things, why would it be like all year that you have a mitzvah of Talmud Torah? Oh. So on this we have two terutzim. One teretz is, like I told you before, someone who goes to work, or someone takes his kids out to the park, or takes his wife out to the restaurant. Does he have to walk around feeling all guilty? Oh, I'm not doing Talmud Torah. Oh, bittul Torah. Ain't gonna be very good for your marriage or your kids. No, obviously not. No. Talmud Torah is a chiyuv. I repeat, you must do it. There's no option. But in the context of when you're free, there are other things in life that may take precedence. Right? It's not like, for example, let's say you have to take a loan, and you're locked in your room on Sukkot. You got locked into the room. You couldn't shake the loan. That means you have to do a mitzvah, and you're an onus. You're not a fault, but you didn't do the mitzvah. That's called, you had a mitzvah, but there was an onus. But when you go to work, it's not like, oh, I had to learn Torah, but I'm an onus. Oh, it's a tragedy. I had to learn Torah, but it's an onus, and I can't. Oh, I had to learn a Torah, but my wife asked me to take out the garbage, so I have to stop learning. It's a tragedy. No, it's not the way it works by Talmud Torah. By Talmud Torah, the way it works is, you have to learn when you have to learn. But when you're not supposed to learn, you're not supposed to learn. When you're supposed to go to work, you're not supposed to be learning. It's not an onus. It's not like a tragedy. It's not like, oh, I have to do it, but I couldn't do it. That's the way Talmud Torah works. When you have to take your kids out to the park, it's not like, oh, bittul Torah. No bittul Torah. You have to go take your kids to the park. And now you don't have the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. It must be that way, because the mitzvah of Talmud Torah is 24/7. That's the mitzvah. The mitzvah of Talmud Torah is 24/7. It can't be 24/7. It's impossible. Because this is the way the academically, or Somayach, the Yeshivat Ohr, the Kibbutz Yaakov, that's the way they explain how we understand Talmud Torah. So it could be like this also. Tisha B'Av. We're like, what do you mean? Learn the sad stuff. Learn the sad stuff. How can we not a chiyuv to learn the sad stuff? Well, the answer is, I'm not in the mood to learn the sad stuff. I'm depressed. I am not happy. I am fasting. And I don't want to learn anything. I just want to sit on my couch and space out and think about my miserable life and the miserable life of Judaism, of Jews. And I'm just miserable. So we're going to say, yeah, but go learn. Go learn. You can learn sad stuff. Well, just like when I go to work, I don't have to learn. On Tisha B'Av, I'm allowed to be just miserable. On Tisha B'Av, I'm allowed to do nothing. Why? Because that's what Tisha is about. Being miserable and doing nothing. Not nothing in the sense of like watching Netflix, do nothing. Not that sense. Nothing of being depressed. And if you're depressed, let's say you're an average in koilel. You're an average in koilel. You don't want to learn today. You're just not feeling. And you have a legitimate reason. You're depressed, whatever it is. You don't have bittul Torah. That's not bittul Torah. You need a day off. You need a break. You can't learn that. That's not bittul Torah. If you do it for 10 weeks straight, you should probably get on the koilel and get a job. But once in a while, so here too, Tisha B'Av is like that day that I just don't want to do anything. I am so depressed, so miserable. I just want to think about the morning. M-O-U-R, right? I'm depressed. So you don't have to learn. Just like when you're working, you don't have to learn. So therefore, you're sitting on the couch. Wife says, go learn bittul Torah. What are you doing? Go learn Medrash Eicha. Say, I don't feel like it. I don't like that. I just don't feel like it. I'm just depressed. I'm just miserable. I'm just mourning. Okay? Again, it has to be for, right? That would be one mahalach. Another mahalach, why there's no mitzvah of Talmud Torah at all on Tisha B'Av is because we have the famous Egler Tal and the Avram Minahar and the famous Taz, who they all talk about. The Avram Minahar and the Taz are talking about mitzvah lav. Let's say there's a shayfer asur b'hanah. Shayfer asur b'hanah. Either because you made a neder about it that you're not going to have enough from the shayfer, or the shofar itself, you're allowed to blow. You're allowed to use it on Rosh Hashanah. Why? You having hana, it's also about hana. No. Mitzvahs have nothing to do with hana. Mitzvahs are not for hana in this world. It's hana is hana in this world. And mitzvahs have nothing to do with hana. You have no hana in this world. So you can blow it. What do you mean? The shofar is also about hana. Doing a mitzvah is not having hana. It's an ethereal type of pleasure that has nothing to do with this world. And nothing to do with this world. There's no problem of using an avodah zarah shofar to be yotze mitzvah. Or if you made a shofar asar mana, made a neder about it. But the halacha is, let's say you had a book, a sefer, and you said you're not going to have enough from the sefer, a chumash or whatever, a Gemara. The halacha is you can't learn from it. Why not? Says Avram ben Ahor and says the Taz. Because Torah, the mitzvah of Torah, what we talked about a little before, is to have simcha. The mitzvah of Torah is to enjoy it. The part and parcel of the mitzvah of Torah is to enjoy it. Is to have enough from it. The Eglei Tal, in the beginning of his sefer, that's Avnei Nezer, right? Not so long ago, late 1800s. He wrote, there was a group of people, Hasidim, who said, when you learn Torah, don't make chiddushim. When you learn Torah, make sure that you play your part, your role in the learning. If you have some type of novelty, try to play it down, or don't even try to not have any novel thoughts. Because if you have novel thoughts and you're enjoying it, you can't enjoy it too much. Then you're not learning Torah l'shma. You're learning Torah for other reasons, for your self-esteem, to pat yourself in the back. Says the Eglei Tal, this is a terrible mistake. The whole point of Torah is that you should feel good about yourself. The whole point of Torah is that you should say a chiddush and say, I'm so smart. Look how smart I am. I'm so happy. I feel so good about myself. That is what Torah is about. Torah is about enjoying it. Torah is about feeling that you've accomplished and you're creative. It's a creative act. And any type of creative act is a happy act. So shofar has nothing to do with you being happy. Shofar has nothing to do with you being happy. Shofar has nothing to do with you being happy. Nothing. It could be you're happy, but nothing to do with you. In the next world, you get hana, you get your payback. Torah is in this world. You're supposed to be happy with it. In this world, you're supposed to have hana. In this world, you're supposed to enjoy it tremendously. Therefore, says the Taz and the Roman Or, shofar is also hana. Shofar is avodah zarah. Or shofar that you made a neder on, you can blow it on Rosh Hashanah. But a sefer, or a sefer that's also hana, you can't learn it. It's also hana. You have the mitzvah of Torah. Mitzvah doesn't do with hana. The mitzvah of Torah has to do with hana. The whole point of Torah is that you should enjoy it in this world, now, here. Now, you should take pleasure. If you learn like this, that the whole point of Torah is that you should enjoy it and you should have simcha in it. I'm sitting on the couch. Wife says, "Why aren't you learning Medrash Eicha?" And I'm like, I don't really like that stuff. I'm not going to really enjoy it. I don't really want to do that. So I have no chiyuv to do it. There's no bittul Torah. I have no chiyuv in Torah. I can't be told to learn something that I'm not going to like to learn. And therefore, I told my wife, I don't want to learn that. I don't want to learn that. I'm not interested. I'm not happy. I'm just not happy. Now, my assumption is, if during the year, if you open up a Medrash Eicha, of course you get a mitzvah Talmud Torah. And you open up the Gemara and Gittin Barkamsa, you get the mitzvah. But to force me into a situation where I have to learn something that I don't want to learn, and say, I'm sitting on the couch, I really want to learn Baba Kama. I really want to learn Baba Metzia. Oh, darn, it's Tisha B'Av. I got to learn some Medrash Eicha, I got to learn Iyah. I really don't want to learn that. To force me to learn something I don't want to learn, no, can't do that. If I'm gung-ho and I'm like, I want to learn Iyah for some crazy reason, and I love it, and I learn it during the year too, and fine. But usually the situation is you're learning on Tisha B'Av stuff that you wouldn't learn during the year, stuff you're forced into it. And Torah, you can't be forced into it, you be simchedek. So those are the two reasons. Now, that's what you have here. Rabbi Yashiv says, None of it. You're sitting on your couch, you're doing nothing. You better learn some Medraseicha. You better learn some Iyuv. Because of you, the Beis Hamikdash is not being built. But you're doing Bittul Torah. And, right? And that will be the Shita that says you say Bittul Torah. The other Shita, the Mati Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, and Rabbi Orbach, and many others, they say no. There is no Mitzvot Torah, at least if I don't want to, I don't have to. If I don't want to, I can do absolutely nothing. Okay? Oh. Are we holding? Rabbi side. I'll say we'll continue next week, but we ain't continue next week. Okay? Like I said, there's a lot more to talk about. What he talked about, we have to really analyze this better. Based on the reasons I gave, the Shittas who say that there is no Talmud Torah on Tisha B'Av, do they hold that it's just a optional, or do they hold even if you learn there's no Talmud, even if you actually learn the stuff, it's not called Talmud Torah? I have a whole shtick about that, and I'll just say one thing and we'll end with this. L'chayra, at least we have a shtickle raya. L'chayra we have a raya to Rabbi Yosef, a little raya to Rabbi Yosef. We'll see in a minute. It says over here, you're not allowed to wash on Tisha B'Av, right? You're not allowed to get wet. But it says there, let's say you're traveling on Tisha B'Av to see your Rebbe. You're allowed to go into an ocean. You're allowed to swim in a swimming pool to get to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe is like on the other side of the ocean or on the other side of a river. You have to swim through it. Why? Says Mr. Baruch. Because it's a mitzvah. You'll hear from him the Torah. You'll hear from him the Torah. Meaning, you're now allowed to do rechitza so tiny. On Tisha B'Av, you're now do rechitza tiny. Just rechitza to refresh yourself. But if you do rechitza because you have to get somewhere, you're just getting wet because you have to get somewhere, i.e. you got to get to your Rebbe. But what does it say here? What are you going for the Rebbe for? For the Divrei Torah. Now, if there is no mitzvah of Talmud Torah on Tisha B'Av, so you're not doing a mitzvah. L'chayr, from here's a raya to Rabbi Yosef that there is a mitzvah of Talmud, at least there's a raya, that if you're learning, you do get the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. That much, there is a raya to it. Because if you learn that when you learn on Tisha B'Av, you get no mitzvah of Talmud Torah, just like reading a Jewish history book, or just like reading a newspaper, so then this halacha makes no sense. So at least from this halacha, at least we could discern from this halacha that if you do learn on Tisha B'Av, you do get some mitzvah. But some people want to count say it's not a raya. Maybe this halacha means you're going to your Rebbe to learn, and you're going during Tisha B'Av, but you'll actually be learning from him the next day. What's our problem? You're going to the Rebbe, and therefore that gives you the heter to get wet. And what's the heter? Because you're going to learn. Wait a minute, there's no mitzvah to learn on Tisha B'Av. So what's the heter? No mitzvah. It could be that you're traveling. It could be you're traveling actually not to learn on Tisha B'Av. You're actually traveling to learn on 2 days from now. You take a 2-day trip. So actually, the learning that you're going to get is not learning on Tisha B'Av. We're talking about learning on a couple days from now. So therefore, there would not be a raya. Okay, Rabbi side. We didn't do everything here, but we did most of it. So bottom line is, like I said, a big huge machlekes. If on Tisha B'Av, if you're sitting on the couch, you don't want to do nothing, do you have to open up the kinnos of Mitzvah or Yirmiyahu or whatever be? No. In Mitzvah Hashem, the Gemara says that the reason why the first Beis Hamikdash was destroyed is because they weren't Baruch Hu B'Torah Tchila, which means that they didn't have enough respect for the Torah. I always felt that that's like a little bit of a punishment. And another reason why we don't learn on Tisha B'Av is it's like a punishment. You didn't want to learn when you had to. Now I won't let you learn. The Gemara doesn't say that. This is my own novel understanding. So the Gemara says, why was the first Beis Hamikdash destroyed? Because they didn't do Birkas Torah, right? I'm sure you're going to answer the famous question. All right, so because they did the 3 cardinal sins. But everyone answers, but it started out that they weren't Baruch Hu B'Torah Tchila, which means they were even learning, but they didn't have enough respect for Torah. So they didn't precede it with a bracha. The B'Yud Lamei, the schus of this year, and the schus of all the learning that we did this month, hopefully we zeicha to serve Beis Hamikdash from here of Meinu, and we will not have to discuss these issues anymore. Okay, everybody.